Okay, I think we're live. Yes, we are live now. Uh okay, welcome to the Thriving Creative podcast. Today is episode 11, and the topic was going to be, and perhaps still is, I'm feeling it out. Uh is going to be on the pleasure process and how to enjoy every step of your creative path. But I'm feeling called to even expand that beyond just the creative path and actually just how to be in our world right now, which I know many of us are feeling incredibly stressed about, incredibly sad, uh, deeply terrified in a lot of cases, understandably, given all of the threats that we are hearing about and reports that we're getting about aggression, violence, and so on. So that really taxes our ability uh, to feel positive and to feel any sense of hope, yeah, or to feel anything other than despair, right? And so, raise your hand if you are feeling a sense of despair and utter hopelessness. I know it does cross through my being uh, a number of times each day, actually, like these waves. And I need to remind myself that uh, emotions are energy in motion. And so um, we can feel emotions and they can kind of get stuck if we dwell on them, if we really fall into them. And we can actually help them move forward and on their way, right? Like, okay, I see you, fear. Um, I feel you, be with the emotion, feel the fear. I was just talking with a mentor and she said that what she has often done for years, she'll go to her altar, and if she feels anger coming up, she'll go to her altar, she'll sit there, and she will allow herself to become the anger, be the anger, and even is sort of like calling it mild, medium, or hot, you know? Um, and so if she's feeling it really hot, she's just like hot, 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 hot. And then it goes through and she allows it to be there. And knowing that she's not the anger itself, like it's not I am anger, it's just like I am being with anger. I am allowing anger to express. I am uh, and express safely, in a safe place, not taking it out on anybody or oneself. Also, really important to not be taking it out on ourselves or our loved ones or anybody, or even to social media, like to keep putting out more and more anger and fear. There's such a fine balance there. I'm struggling with that myself. It's like, how do we stay informed uh, and not perpetuate fear? Like that's such a challenge. I don't have the answers to that. But what I do feel is really what we can do is take care of ourselves, right? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we have the big emotions? We sit with the emotions. We allow themselves to express through us. Um, and to acknowledge them. Like, okay, anger, yes, let's have your moment. Let's have your time. Let's hear what you have to say, express, or if it's fear or sadness and you're just crying and bawling, it's okay. Like, feel it. We don't want to like sidestep our emotions because, well, for a million reasons. It's first of all, it's not possible. And second of all, it's super unhealthy, right? It just like builds up and creates all kinds of distress in the body, which can then lead to illness or mental or physical illness. So I know I lost my thread there. Be with the emotion, allow the emotion to be. It's our job to not I've said this many times, even on my other podcast, the Thriving Live. Our job is to get better at feeling and not only to seek to feel better, right? Of course, we all want to feel good, and we can all feel good. And getting to the place of feeling good is an inside job. Like nobody can show up and make us feel happy, right? Nobody can, um, and likewise, nobody can make us be feel angry. Like they can't make us feel angry. That's our choice to feel anger about the thing. So we're always responding or reacting. And on the exercise that I I practice is basically to notice that there's a feeling, an emotion coming up, being with it, acknowledging that it's there, allowing myself to feel it, and like even try to like be with the feeling of it in all dimensions, all directions that it wants to express within me. Um, like or to justify why it's there, you know what I'm saying? And I get to be my body and my soul, and my presence is really that. It's a witness. So I am the witness, I am the observer, and I'm holding space for the emotion to be there. I am holding space for the emotion and energy to pass through. It can't last forever. You know, we're humans. We get distracted. We have other thoughts. Something happens and, we see this gorgeous bird flying over our heads or something like that. So fortunately, we don't have to get stuck in those emotions when they show up. And isn't it interesting? I think I've probably talked about this, if not on my show, certainly with my clients, that growing up, at least when I was growing up, we weren't really allowed to have and express our emotions. Like you're not sad. Don't be angry. Don't be sad. Don't cry. And so we were just trained over and over again to not feel our emotions. And so we got this idea that it was not good to have emotions. But that's one of our specialties as humans. We get to have emotions. Like we get to have emotions. And there are a lot of other things on the planet that don't get to have or experience emotions in the way that we do. And they don't have the free will that we have, like a blade of grass. Maybe it has emotions, I don't know. But it can't like just get up and move to another location, right? Um, and I'm not saying that every one of us as humans can do that either, obviously. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a thing such as refugees and immigrants. We would all just be free to go wherever we wanted to, but we don't all have that freedom. So there's that. There's, this idea of like it's not safe to feel our feelings. It's not good to feel our feelings. Or some of us may have grown up in households or in spaces where someone else's emotion was overwhelming and terrifying, or dangerous even. And um, I myself have lived in those kinds of spaces, and certainly a lot of the people I've worked with, survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, as well as, other clients who grew up in really oppressive, dysfunctional households. So we get to this stage of becoming an adult eventually, and we may still believe that it's not okay to have our feelings. And one of my great mentors said many years ago, I got this. He said, what I said a moment ago, that it's not about feeling better. We need to get better at feeling. And why do we need to get better at feeling? It's because there's so much richness in that. There's so much richness in the soil of our emotions and in the soil of our beings as humans, as being souls in human bodies on this planet, right? So uh yeah, I keep going on these tangents and then it's like, where was I and what I was saying? Get better at feeling. Another thing is that maybe we need to become better at feeling so that we can learn how to regulate ourselves, how to regulate our emotions. You know, a lot of us who were trained to not have them or not be with them or not allow them have also a really hard time being self-regulated. So being calm in situations that, you know, might typically set us off, but not bother other people, right? And for example, myself as an empath, I feel things deeply, even the things that are not mine to be felt. You know, they might be something that's going on for someone else. And and my emotional being says, "Oh, there's an emotion. That's like, oh my God, I feel that for that person." And then that can throw me off, you know, into you know, off my track and it's not even mine to begin with. So I definitely needed to learn how to regulate my own emotional um, being as well as my nervous system, you know, because when I get upset and troubled, sad, whatever, however it's coming through, uh, my whole nervous system will go wacky. You know, I'll sweat, my heart will beat fast, I will feel like so contracted, I'll have difficulty speaking, I'll have difficulty even expressing what I want to say or having a thought that makes sense or making a decision, a simple decision like, where do you want to get lunch today? Or something like that. You know, like it can really um, impact my my ability to function well, let's say. So, what are some of the ways, what are some of the easiest ways to rebalance, to settle our nervous system, to regulate our emotions? Well, one of the biggest ways, and it's taught in a million different places for all different industries, the first thing is to take a long, slow, deep breath. So I'm going to do it right now because I'm pretty jazzed up right now. And there's a lot of stuff coming through, and I want to just reconnect and ground myself. And so if you're feeling also a little bit um, mm, powered up, energized, stressed, whatever it is, come along and take a few long, slow, deep breaths with me. I invite you to just, if you feel safe to, close your eyes and take a long, okay, so do a long, slow, deep breath in. Hold it for 3 and exhale out through your mouth. Hold it for 3. Inhale in. Hold it for 3. Exhale through your mouth. Hold it for 3. One more time. Inhale. Hold it for 3. Exhale. Hold it for 3. Now just continue breathing normally, however feels comfortable for you. And notice how you feel. Notice what's different. For me, I feel way calmer. You can also hear it in my voice. I feel a little bit dreamy and peaceful, really like peaceful. Wow. And that was just 3 long, slow, deep breaths. So that is one of the quickest ways to reset. And I find that the counting is helpful for me because otherwise my brain will continue to look for the things to be worried about and fearful about. And that's not going to allow our nervous system to reset, right? So I was just counting like I think I counted 5 for inhale and then 3 at the hold. And then I extended it to 6 coming out as the exhale and another 3 hold. You can play with those numbers, but what you really want to do is always make sure that the exhale is longer than the inhale. Why? Because that is the key message to your parasympathetic nervous system that says, we are safe here now. We are safe here now. We can relax. We can let go. We can take a moment for ourselves. And what I find amazing is that the thoughts, the quality of the thoughts and questions are so much better, so much more peaceful and easy and manageable, you know? So I'm just closing all these extra windows that are distracting me on my computer. So, all right. So we've I don't know, we have brought our nervous systems back into a calm state. Yay, congratulations. That is a big deal. And now, let me see if there's something else I wanted to bring in here. Well, one thing I'm finding right now is that, see, I host these monthly climate calls on the second Tuesdays of every month. And it's free and people can register on Eventbrite and welcome to come along. So it happens at 6:00 tonight, Eastern time. And it runs for about an hour. And it's just a space for us to come together and sit and be with our feelings and express our feelings around, typically it would be around climate change. What I found really fascinating this week is that for the past several months, only a few people have been signing up, and then I show up and no one's there. And it's not really surprising because a lot of us like register for things and then for whatever reasons we can't make the live version, so we might watch the replay if there is one. So, so I don't take it personally that they're not coming, and I haven't been promoting them very heavily, well, at all, really. I pop something into a newsletter like the day before, which is really not fair to a lot of people because that doesn't give them time to plan. However, I'm working on my calendaring and my scheduling and my automation of certain things that need to that should go out sooner. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, for the last several months, there's been almost nobody signing up, maybe 1 or 2 people at the most, and then nobody showing up. This past week, I've had a dozen people sign up for tonight's call. And what that means to me is that we are really needing community right now. We are really needing spaces where we can come together and be together and see each other and hear each other and energetically hold each other, hold space for each other's feelings without, absorbing them, without dropping into them, without, becoming those emotions, but just to be in community together and to express what's coming up. And this brings me back to where I was going with my simple ways to regulate our nervous systems. The second really big easy way to disconnect from our emotions is to go outside. Just go outside. Get outside in the sunshine. Take a walk. Go get a coffee. See some people. meet up with friends, take a walk with friends, take a walk with yourself, listen to a really positive uh, podcast or book or meditation, even. Um, yeah, my partner actually recorded a meditation from Stephen Levine's book called A Year to Live, which is a really amazing book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And it's called the Soft Belly Meditation. And it's really about loosening the clenching. And a lot of us hold and tense up in our bellies. A lot of us hold it in the shoulders, and others hold it in the pelvic floor. Wherever it is, we're holding it. That's where we need to practice softening and softening and softening. And in this book, actually, it's really interesting because it's about um, imagining that you only had a year left to live, and how would you change your life? What would you do to to make sure that your life has the quality of life in it that you deserve, that you desire? Um, and there's a whole lot more I want to say about all of that, and this isn't really the time to do it um, right now. Maybe I'll do another episode on that. But the thing that I wanted to say, so number one, we had the breathe, right? Number two is go outside. If you can't go outside for whatever reason, you can look at things of nature online, right? You could look at pictures, videos, special shows, whatever. But it's really best to get outside and get the fresh air if you can. The third thing, as a really quick reset for yourself, is similar to what I just said about going outside, but it can be done indoors. So, for example, I was just sharing these ideas with somebody on Facebook I was talking with. She was so in despair about what about our election results and what it looks like our future might be like. And she didn't think she could even have any hope. Like Brene Brown was talking about, like we we need to not lose hope, right? And then my friend was saying, well, I'm going to hope for hope. I'm going to hope to get to the hope, because right now she's not feeling it, which I totally get. I totally get that. And I thought that was a great place to start. I'm going to hope to get to hope. And in the meantime, I suggested noticing all the little tiny spots in your life that are lovely, that are beautiful, that help you feel good. So, for example, it could be noticing the sunlight come in through the window and rest on the apples on your countertop. Or if you're lucky enough to have a chair that's near the window and you sit there and you're reading, you can feel the sunshine on your shoulder and it can warm you. And to really savor those beautiful, delightful, delicious moments, like really, they really light me up so much. And I feel the same way about shadows. When I see really interesting shadows, I love that. And to collect those moments of joy, even if it's just a moment of joy, a moment of beauty, a moment of pleasure, a moment of feeling good, and savor every single one of them and gather them, like little seeds of rice, and eventually you'll have enough to really sustain you, and hold you for a good chunk of time. And oh, a friend of mine was just saying that she recommends um, a joy jar, create a joy jar. So this would be a perfect example. instead of just trying to remember those moments that you're beginning to spot, like I had a great conversation with my son today, or um, it was so good to run into so and so today. We had a lovely conversation about cats or whatever it is. Um, you put a little piece of paper with the thing on it into your jar. And, oh, the sunshine was on my lap this morning as I sat in the chair. Pop it in the jar. And then you have all of these, you're literally collecting these moments of joy and pleasure and happiness. And I'm sure you've heard this a million times already. I'm just going to remind you that we're in charge of our peace and our happiness, and only us. It can't be taken away from us. And isn't that awesome? Right? Isn't that awesome that we actually have the power to control our own happiness and our own joy and our own creativity and our own delight and pleasure? That we have that inside us. Like that doesn't rely or depend on anybody, the government, your partner, your boss, the crossing guard. If we have crossing guards, we don't anymore here, but um, certainly not going to come from the email inbox, or social media. Um, so we have that job, which is a pretty cool job to have, right? And likewise, we can also make ourselves miserable. We can keep ourselves miserable. We can, suffering is optional in a lot of cases where we're still free, physically free. And I'm reminded of that movie, Roberto Benigni's movie, Life is Beautiful, of him and his son in the concentration camps in Auschwitz. And the dad, really maintained and created love and joy and connection and fun and beauty in every moment he could for his son. So his son could remain pretty oblivious to the horrors of what was going on outside of their little space where they were. And that's probably what we need to do right now for the time being until things open up again and we can see more light from the institutions and organizations and government bodies and all of that. If and when that comes, who knows? But in the meantime, we will do what we can to maintain our own happiness and our own light and our own joy. So yeah, the three things again, the quickest way to recalibrate, re to regulate your nervous system and to find joy is to do some long, slow breathing, even just 3 breaths like we did at the beginning of this or midway through, to ground and reconnect. For me, I need to count, otherwise I'll get distracted with all the thoughts that my brain is trying to remind me of. The second is get outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. And the third thing is notice all the tiniest and biggest, beautiful, wonderful things that are in your life. It could be a flower in your garden, or I discovered a little surprising rose blossom the other day. It's November, but it was on this little branch and there are a few of them. So that was so delightful. Um, yeah, notice all of these tiny moments, gather them up, make a joy jar if you want to, and celebrate every single one of them and with gratitude for showing up. And the more you see, the more you will continue to see. It'll keep going. And so just like worrying begets more worrying and fear begets more fear, joy begets more joy and beauty begets more beauty when we're noticing them and when we're consciously, intentionally bringing them into our lives. So, my loves, this was not the episode I had prepared for you, It was a whole piece called Pleasure Process, how to enjoy every step of your creative path, which I guess, as I said in the beginning, applies to not just a creative path, but like our life, our individual lives as sovereign humans on this planet, emotional beings in physical form. Um, and I think I want to just keep it at that. I don't want to get into all of these other pieces. I think I said enough here, and I want to get outside in the sunshine. And that's going to help me take care of myself. So I send you so much love and light and peace and, all those woo woo things. But because just as reminders that you have that inside you, and take some breaths, some long, slow, deep breaths to reconnect to the amazingness that you are, to the miracle that you are, to the miracle of being alive on the planet at this time. Yes, it might get really super incredibly heartbreakingly hard in the future, but what we have to focus on right now is the now, the now. How am I right now? Right now, I am safe. Right now, I am happy. Right now, I am in love. Right now, I am in joy. Right now, I can see the sun is shining outside. Right now, I can hear people laughing in the street. So it is not all bad everywhere. And it's crucial, crucial that we remember this and we look for the parts that are not all bad. We look for the parts that are good. We look for the people that are helping. We look for the people who are willing to smile and embrace and love and hold space for us. And we celebrate every single one of those. So that's all I'll say for today. I love you. I love you. I love you. Put comments in the section, in the comment section below. Um, I'll try to get, like, I don't know, email sign up or something going. Uh, and the other thing is, if you want to come tonight to the climate circle, go to Eventbrite and look up the climate circle. Actually, I'll put a link to that under this video on Facebook. And then I guess also on YouTube when I post it. All right. I love you. I love you. Stay in the light, be love, and you are loved. You are totally loved. Bye.